Let him go, please. He is my son, my first son. A mother, on her knees, begging. Not a warrior, not a queen, just a mother trying to save the last thing she had left in the world. And the man she was begging? I'll find another. 4 words. That's all Walder Frey gave her. 4 words that told her everything. That her son's life meant nothing to him. That her pain meant nothing. That love and grief and a mother's desperation were just noise. The Red Wedding is the most talked about scene in Game of Thrones history, maybe in all of TV history. People who had read the books warned their friends. People who hadn't read the books were absolutely blindsided. The reactions went viral before going viral was even a normal thing. But everyone always talks about the shock, the chaos, the music switching, the arrows, the bodies. Nobody talks enough about this moment. This quiet, devastating moment at the end of it all, where a mother runs out of options and tries the only thing she has left, her voice, and it fails her completely. This is the scene that really broke fans' hearts. Not the chaos. This. Who Catelyn Stark was before this night. Season 3, Episode 9, The Reigns of Castamere. To understand why this moment hits so hard, you have to understand who Catelyn Stark was before that all. She wasn't a warrior. She wasn't a schemer. She wasn't playing the game for power or glory. Catelyn Stark was a mother first. That was her entire identity in the show. Everything she did, every choice, every sacrifice, every mistake came from that one place, her children. She had already lost so much before that wedding. Her husband Ned was gone. Her daughters Sansa and Arya were missing somewhere in the chaos of the war. She had no news of Bran and Rickon. For all she knew, Winterfell was ash and her younger boys were gone too. All she had left was Robb, her firstborn, the boy who had become a king. The boy who carried his father's face and his father's stubbornness and his father's terrible habit of choosing honor over survival. She had followed him into a war she wasn't sure he could win. She had watched him make decisions she disagreed with. She had released the Kingslayer against his wishes because she thought she was trading a prisoner for her daughters. She had argued with him, worried about him, quietly carried the weight of everything he couldn't afford to feel while he was busy being a king. She was his mother. That was the job. And she had done it under impossible conditions. And then they walked into the twins for a wedding that was supposed to fix everything. The warning. She caught too late. Here's the thing about the Red Wedding that makes Catelyn's final moment even more painful. She figured it out. Not in time, but she figured it out. It was the music. The musicians in the hall started playing The Reigns of Castamere, the Lannister song. The song that meant the Lannisters were coming. The song that was a message. And Catelyn heard it shift, and something inside her went cold. She looked around. She saw the doors. She saw the guards. She grabbed the arm of a Frey soldier near her and pulled back his sleeve. Chain armor underneath the wedding clothes. You don't wear chain armor to a wedding. She turned to Warren Robb. She said his name. She reached for him, and then the arrows came. She was a second too late, just 1 second, and that second is one of the most painful things in the whole show, because she knew, she put it together. She was smart enough and experienced enough and had been around enough danger to read the room, and it still wasn't enough. The trap was too complete. The betrayal was too total. She watched her son get hit. She watched him fall. And something in Catelyn Stark just switched off. The moment she became someone else. This is one of the greatest performances in the entire series. And it happens in about 30 seconds with almost no words. The grief doesn't come in slowly. It doesn't build. It arrives all at once, like a wave that knocks you off your feet, and then something very strange happens. She goes quiet. She goes still. The grief doesn't make her fall apart. It makes her focused. The plea. What she was really saying. Her words are simple, almost unbearably simple. Let him go, please. He is my son, my first son. She's not offering gold. She's not threatening an army. She doesn't have any of that anymore. What she's offering is her grief, her humanity. She's asking Walder Frey to look at her and see a mother and feel something. She adds that she will never seek revenge, that she promises that if he just lets Robb walk away, this ends here. No blood feud, no retaliation, just let him go.
Think about what she is giving up in that promise. She is promising to swallow the worst night of her life, to watch the man who orchestrated this walk free, to never make him answer for it.
She is offering him complete, total, unconditional immunity in exchange for one life, her son's life. My first son, those 3 words are everything. She's not just saying this is Robb Stark, king in the north. She's saying, this is the child I held first. This is the one who made me a mother. This is the one whose face I have known the longest. It is the most human thing anyone says in the entire episode. In a night full of politics and betrayal and cold calculation, here is just a mother, asking, pleading, using the only currency she has left, which is love. 4 words that destroyed everything. Walder Frey looks at her. He thinks about it for exactly as long as it takes him to not care. I'll find another. That's it. That's his answer. Not anger, not cruelty for the sake of it. Just indifference. His wife is an object he can replace. Catelyn's grief is a noise he can ignore. The whole situation is just math to him, and the math says it doesn't matter. This is what makes Walder Frey one of the most despised characters in the show. Not because he's dramatically evil, not because he gives a villain speech, but because of how small he is, how petty, how completely unbothered by the suffering right in front of him. He did all of this, the betrayal, the planning, the violation of guest right, the whole catastrophe, because Robb broke a promise to marry one of his daughters. That's it. That was the insult, a broken engagement. And in response to that, Walder Frey chose to burn everything to the ground. The line, "I'll find another," tells you exactly who he is. His wife is not a person to him. She is a possession, a replaceable one. Catelyn was counting on him having even a basic human attachment to the woman whose throat she was holding. And he doesn't. He genuinely doesn't. Emotional leverage only works on people who actually feel emotions. Catelyn just found out, in the worst possible way, that she was dealing with someone who didn't. Why this hurts more than the arrows? Ask anyone who was watching the Red Wedding live what hit them the hardest. Most of them won't say the arrows. They'll say this moment, Catelyn begging, Walder not caring. Why? Because the arrows are violence. Violence in Game of Thrones, as shocking as it is something you can process. It's physical, it's fast, it's horrifying, but your brain can file it somewhere. This is different. This is a mother's love being dismissed in 4 words. This is the show looking you in the eye and saying, love doesn't protect anyone here. Care doesn't protect anyone here. Being a good mother, being present, being devoted, being willing to sacrifice everything, none of it matters in a world run by men like Walder Frey. That's what breaks people, not the shock, the truth of it. The horrible, cold truth that the show was never shy about. The world of Westeros does not reward love. It punishes it. Ned Stark was honorable, and it ended him. Robb Stark married for love, and it ended him. And Catelyn Stark loved her children more than anything in the world, and it didn't save a single one of them. That is the show's darkest lesson. And Catelyn's final plea is where it lands hardest. Michelle Fairley, the performance that deserved every award. Let's talk about what Michelle Fairley does in this scene, because it is extraordinary. She's been a supporting character for 3 seasons. Respected, well-written, but never quite the center of the story. And then, this episode gives her 5 minutes that most actors would spend a career hoping for. The moment she grabs Walder Frey's wife and turns to face him. Watch her voice. She's not screaming. She's not hysterical. She is completely controlled in the way that people get when they have gone so far past fear that there's nothing left to be afraid of. Her voice shakes, but it's not weakness. It's a woman holding herself together by sheer force, because falling apart is a luxury she cannot afford right now. The "my first son" line, the way she says it, the way she emphasizes first, like she's trying to make Walder Frey understand something he is incapable of understanding. She is not acting at him. She is genuinely trying to reach him. You believe she means it because Fairley plays it like she means it. And then after Walder responds, after she hears those 4 words and knows it's over, watch her face. There's a moment where the last bit of Catelyn Stark, the woman who was a wife and a mother and a lady and a schemer and a fighter, just leaves. What's left isn't grief, it's something past grief, something empty. She follows through on her threat, not in triumph, in the hollow way that you do things when you've stopped caring what happens next. Michelle Fairley was not nominated for an Emmy for this performance. It remains one of the most baffling oversights in the awards history. The rules the show broke that night. Part of why the Red Wedding hit so hard was that it broke the rules. And not just the show's rules, it broke storytelling rules that audiences had been trained to rely on their entire lives. The hero doesn't lose at a wedding. The mother's plea works. The villain blinks. That's how stories go. That's the unspoken contract between a show and its audience. We will take you into dark places, but there is a floor. There are things that don't happen to the main characters. There are lines. Game of Thrones had been building to this moment for 3 seasons. It had already shown it was different, already shown it would go further than other shows. But even after Ned Stark's end in Season 1, fans had rebuilt their expectations. Robb was the new protagonist. Catelyn was the emotional center. Surely the show wouldn't. It would. It did. And there was no musical sting to warn you, no slow motion, no moment of dramatic silence before it all went wrong. The chaos just started and didn't stop. And even in that chaos, the cruelest moment was the quiet one. The mother's plea, the 4-word answer, the confirmation that no, there is no floor, there is no line, and nobody here is safe because they're the main character. What Catelyn's end means for the whole show. The Red Wedding didn't just remove characters from the show, it removed a certain kind of hope from the show. For the first 3 seasons, somewhere under all the darkness and betrayal and violence, there was a Stark family. Scattered, struggling, in danger, but alive. And the Starks represented something. They represented the idea that decency could survive in this world, that honor and love and family loyalty weren't just weaknesses, they were worth having. After the Red Wedding, that idea takes a massive blow. Not a fatal one. Arya is still out there, Jon is still out there, Sansa is still out there. The Stark story isn't over, but the version of the story where the whole family reunites and everything is okay? That dream ends here, in this hall, with this plea. Catelyn was the heart of the Stark family. She held the emotional center. She was the one who worried and planned and pushed back and loved fiercely even when it made her unpopular. Without her, something fundamental changes about what the show is about and what it's willing to be. The show gets colder after the Red Wedding. Not worse, not better, just colder. And that coldness starts with 4 words from an old man who couldn't even pretend to care. Why we still can't get over it. The Red Wedding aired in 2013. More than a decade later, people still react to it, still share the first-time reaction videos, still get emotional talking about it. That doesn't happen with regular shocking TV moments. It happens because this wasn't just shocking, it was honest. It was the show telling a painful truth about how the world actually works, that love doesn't protect you, that doing the right thing doesn't protect you, and that the most devastating thing in the world is not violence, but indifference. Walder Frey's "I'll find another" is the most chilling line in the whole episode, more than any battle cry, more than any order given, because it tells you, in 4 words, what kind of world this is. A world where a mother's love is just background noise to the people with power. We keep coming back to the Red Wedding because we keep hoping it will feel different, that somehow Catelyn's plea will land this time. That Walder will hesitate just a second longer, that love will be enough. It never is. That's why it still hurts. One hall, one night, one mother's voice asking for the only thing that mattered, and 4 words that ended everything.